Hello! Oh man, it's been a long time since I've streamed, and it's because I've been sick, and I'm still a little bit sick, but right on time, yeah. Thanks, B. Yeah, I'm still a little bit sick, so if you feel the congestion, then that's what's going on. But today is Tuesday, it is May 21st of 2019. And I forgot to start the chatbot because I am a quality streamer and know what I'm doing. Okay, but now it should work. Okay, cool. Alright, chatbot is working. But yeah, I've actually done a bunch of stuff while being sick. Well, I guess not a bunch of stuff, but there's only so much I can do while laying in bed all day. And trying to not die, I guess. Yeah, let me go over some of the stuff that I did while I was offline, and then some of the other stuff that I have in progress, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so last stream, I hope you'll get better soon. Yeah, I hope I get better too, because I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, let me tell you. But I'm in a good mood today, and I'm feeling a lot better today. I'm still just congested. I assume that'll pass with time, but until then, yeah. So last stream we worked on a couple of things. Was this last stream? I don't even remember. Fortunately, Twitter remembers what I worked on last time, so I will just check there. Oh. Was that the last stream? Oh no, yeah, it was this one. I worked on import lib. It's not this one. Not that one. I worked on fixing eggs and stuff, which I think is shipped, so I might actually be able to do that and get the PyTest speed improvements again. But we'll get to that later. It's what I have planned to work on if I get through the pyupgrade stuff. But last time, I fixed \n escapes, \N. Which is a syntax error in Python 3, but Python 2 is like, yeah, that's chill, because Python 3 added verbose Unicode name escapes. We fixed that last time, and we also fixed this native literal stir-pren literal pren automatic fixer, which I forgot to put in the README. Hey, what's up, Peaky Dicers? How's your Tuesday going? How's the Great White North? Hopefully you're not sick like I am. I think I put this in the README. Oh yeah, I put it in the README after the PR. I forgot about it until I went to go to make a release, and I was like, wait a minute. Usually I have to document these things, but yeah. This is one of the other fixers that we worked on last time. I don't know why I use double quotes here. I usually never use double quotes, but yeah, I'm more of a single quotes kind of person, but I don't know why I did that last time, but anyway. That's what we worked on last time. And then a bunch of stuff happened that I worked on offline. Let me just open these up and we'll go through each of them, although I assume some of them are pretty boring, so we'll skip over those. But this change to CPython is pretty cool. I'll go over that one. A lot of stuff changed. Okay. Tuesday's gone pretty good. Bring out a stats assignment. We'll be lurking today. Nice. Oh man, I haven't taken stats in so long. I think the last stats course I took was in 2010? No. Yeah, it was before I stopped doing biochemistry. I took an intro to stats course because they wouldn't let me test out. And it was so boring. It was basically like a rehash of high school statistics. And just like... Not a fun class. It was very easy, and I spent like the whole class trolling the teacher. Because it was one of those iClicker classes, which... I like to show this photo. See if I can grab it quickly. But basically my friend and I did a hardware project on the iClicker. That's not how that works. Where is it? Yeah, here's a picture. it's not a very good photo. But my friend and I did a hardware project on the iClicker, which is basically a like button-based quiz thing. And we did. This is my computer. I still have this monitor. It's still the one that's in front of me right now. But we soldered wires to the board and hooked it up to an AVR programmer, which is this guy here. And then we dumped the EEPROM and then wrote our own code over top of it. And one of the things that we did was, if you pressed a certain button combination, it would vote 255 times for C. And so frequently we would just go into random lectures and just spam this, and teacher would freak out like, where did all of these people come from? What is going on? But that was fun. The other thing that we learned is that there's a teacher clicker and a student clicker, and the only difference between this teacher and student clicker is the teacher's clicker is blue plastic. It's literally the only difference. And this is the part that I had fun with. Through a little bit of social engineering, we'll say, basically I would walk up to the front of the class and be like, hey, these clickers are pretty neat, huh? And like pick up the teacher clicker and kind of peer at the back, and I would memorize their identifier, because the identifiers are printed on the back of the piece of hardware. And then I would take that identifier and flash it to mine, and now I can control their slides. And so we used this to mess with so many teachers, and my friend actually like blogged about it and got suspended because the dean of students thought he was hacking, which I mean it technically was hacking, I guess, but he thought like we were changing people's grades, which totally was not what was happening. But I don't know, he was dumb, so yeah, rip my friend, I guess. Although my friend ended up switching careers, I think. He was in business, and now she's a programmer, I think. I forget. I don't know. But anyway, that was my hardware project. I don't know how I got on this. School stats. Oh yeah, that's what I spent most of my stats doing, was trolling the teacher with that. So I did this 2-character PR, just documentation. Oh, this was interesting. So I used to maintain, I guess I still maintain, but it's basically dead now because I don't work at Yelp anymore. I used to maintain this templating language called Yelp Cheetah, which was Cheetah without all of the bullshit that no one should ever want. But anyway, I wrote a linter for it called CheetahLint, and a long time ago it broke because Flake8 changed its internal API. And I was like, this isn't worth fixing. But I left the issue open, and while I was sick, in my like infinite wisdom, I decided to just like fix this linter. It ended up not being so bad, although it's much slower now. It used to do the linting in process, which was pretty fast. But now the code's a lot shorter too, I think. This was, oh wait, plus 150. Where did I add all the code? Maybe I added more tests? Oh yeah, I added a bunch of new tests. That's why the code got bigger. This music seems quiet. Okay, maybe that's better. But anyway, I upgraded this to Flake8 3 by using subprocess instead of in-process processing, which isn't as great, and like the subprocess overhead's pretty high, but I fixed it. It works again. Ooh, yeah. Then I worked a little bit on, hey, what's up, Snare Traps? I worked a little bit on, oh, what was this? Vexoig, which is the backing for Flask. This was just like a little bug fix. I fixed a bunch of other stuff in Vexoig while I was gone too. This must be a new song, because I feel like I haven't heard it before. And I've heard like everything else in this playlist that I just put on the background every time. Thanks again for your help the other day. Saved me literally weeks. Yeah, no problem. So I was lurking Snare Chops' stream, and they're working on this chatbot, which eventually is going to have cool features like, I don't know, like LED boards, Connect 4, chat interaction, all that sort of fun stuff. And the way they're putting it together is this kind of like microservices Go architecture. And they were having trouble with the RPC procedure call stuff, and I was sick in bed and had nothing better to do, so I was like, oh, I'll just try and debug your RPC setup. And we ended up finding that the RPC library couldn't send and receive on the same Go routine or something like that. But I ended up fixing it and fixed a deadlock, and so now you can write your IRC bot, or not? I guess it is IRC, Twitch chat bot. But that was kind of a cool thing. I went from like not being able to build the thing to patching out the whole world and getting it started up and working. What was this one? Oh, I was helping somebody write a pre-commit hook. They forgot to modify their executable to actually be an executable, so that was cool. What do you think about the latest PEP proposal, removing some of the parts? Oh yeah, I actually I feel like I commented on this. How do I look at that? I'm gonna go through each of the modules because I think it's worth talking about. Where is it? Yeah, this one. I looked through this. Oh, it's now an actual PEP. Okay, cool. I looked through this and I thought there was... I agreed with pretty much all of it except for one module. But let's go through each of these modules and talk about why some of this is good and some of this is bad. The basis behind this PEP is to remove some of the standard lib libraries that people either shouldn't use or don't really get any use anymore, and have people rely on IPI instead. And this is a really aggressive deprecation pipeline, but I don't know. I think it makes sense. Actually, if I had my way, I think Python should ship with almost no standard library, like maybe the import system and packaging system, and you would just install all of the necessary packages. That way you could upgrade out of band and like not really get stuff stuck in the standard lib forever. And of course, like the interpreter would have to have like some amount of syntax stuff and related stuff around there. But like, I think it would be a lot better to be able to upgrade the standard lib essentially out of band. And it would create a fractal of like different standard libs to support, but you wouldn't have to worry about random user that's running 371 that has a bug in what module was it? Subprocess on Windows. You could just like say, oh yeah, don't use subprocess 371, upgrade to subprocess 372, and then I'll have that problem. Standard library is a source you can trust. It is the best you can get. I mean, I don't know. Some of the standard lib is pretty jank. Like, even basically my favorite module, argparse, is like pretty broken and needs a lot of help. Thank you, Otavia Perkles, for the follow. Every follow counts. And like, argparse used to just be a PyPI library, and you would upgrade it at will, and as it got bug fixes, you would be able to pick up those bug fixes. But basically, as soon as it got incorporated into the standard lib, it didn't really get much love after that, I guess. Alright, so let's go through all these modules. Oh, this is not where it has the description. The original post was a lot easier to use. Oh, they took color sys out of here. Like, modules to keep color sys. And others. Yes, it's me. Okay. Anyway, that was the one module that I was like, you should keep this. But let's talk about each of the other modules. Looks like they're all split up like this. Okay, cool. Bin hacks. Some random old binary format. Don't care. Cool. Kill it. UU encoding. I have actually seen this used in production. But I also like don't think people should be using it. Yelp was using this for something, like some email processing thing. The UU format has been replaced by MIME. Yeah, for the most part, unless you're unless you're taking email from random people. This one like will break people, because I know it's in use. Like I worked on the code that used this. But I don't think people will miss this. Like 99% of people won't miss this. XDRlib, another like random binary format. I've never seen this one. AIFCC, AIFC, I have seen these files. Your Python depends on the audio OPC extension. Yeah, I don't know. I don't particularly care about processing audio with Python. I think there's probably better third-party libraries. Do you use Python often at work? Yes. So Lyft is mostly, I'd say we're about like 75. Oh, I don't actually want to sign on. Maybe show you my other tab, I guess, where I'm already signed on. Oh, I'm not signed on over there. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Never mind. Okay, I'm not going to show you. But Lyft's about 85% Python, 10% Go, random smattering of Java and C++. And the tools that my team maintains are this like Docker managing tool, which is written in Python, and I guess Docker, Kubernetes, and a bunch of other stuff managing tool. And that's written in Python and deals with the APIs of all those other things. And that's probably the tool that I modify the most. We also have this distributed refactoring tool, which is different than the one that I wrote, but it's the one that Lyft wrote. And that's written in Python. And then, I don't know, I touch most services at Lyft, so I write a lot of Python. In my opinion, they should wait until 4.0. A code written in Python 3.3 should work on Python 3.10. I don't know, I think like all of the minor versions of Python 3 have been more like major versions. I think to some extent they're like lying about minor version numbers, but you know, that's just me. A lot of these modules I think they should have killed in Python, like the Python 2 to Python 3 transition, but chunk module, I've never even heard of this. Reading and writing electronic arts interchange file format. Never heard of it. Image HDR. Symbol tool to guess the image file format from the first 32 bytes. Oh, so it's like libmagic, but crappy. Yeah, in fact, like, there's some substitutes here. OSS Audio Dev. Open Sound System. Never heard of it. SND HDR. Another libmagic-like thing. Cool. Sun AU. Another old audio thing. Never heard of it. Oh, I guess those are audio and image. Okay, cool. Networking modules. AsyncCat, which was moved to Async IO and with Async Core. Cool. CGI. I have used this module because I had to target Python 2.4 at some point before the like URL parse modules were good. But yeah, I've used CGI quote, CGI parse QS, but in Python 3 you would use URL parse. You don't really have to care about that. Even in Python 2.6, Python 2.7. cgetb. Oh, CGI TB. Interesting. Oh, CGI traceback. I see. SMTPD. You can. There's a Python. What? There's a SMTP server in Python? Weird. NNTPlib. Public interest in NNTP support is dying. Cool. Crypt, yes, please kill it. It's basically bad cryptography. MacPath, yeah, OS 9 has not been supported on CPython for a while. Go ahead, kill it. NIS, Network Information Service / Yellow Pages. Its successor in 1992 never took off. I don't know why it still exists. This module still exists then. SPWD, Unix Shadow Password Database using non-standard APIs. Yeah, that sounds bad. Don't use that. MISC modules, Formatter. What is the Formatter module? Generic output formatting. Deprecated since 3.4. Weird. Was this supposed to be like an abstract interface for like RTF or something? Interesting. Yeah, fine, kill it. Imp, yeah, this is supposed to be dead already. But they keep pushing back when it's gonna get removed. Like it was originally supposed to be removed in like 3.7, 3.6, I want to say, but not anymore. MSIlib to build MSI installers? I don't know. Seems like it could be useful, because I know, like, back when I used to write MSI installers, I had to... I think I paid for some, like, third-party... Oh, that was a long time ago. I don't actually remember. I think I had to, like, pay for some software that built MSI installers. If I would have known about this, that would have been cool, but whatever. Parser. This is funny, because somebody... I think it was you, B, was telling me to look into this module. I don't know. I haven't used it. I've used tokenized AST and lib2-3. Deprecated since 2.5. Interesting. I don't know that lib2-3 is a proper replacement because it's so slow. I wish lib2-3 was not so slow. Although I don't know how slow this module is, so who knows. Pipes, yeah, fine. The only thing I ever used out of pipes was pipes.quote, which was schlex.quote anyway. FPECTL. Never built by default. That's probably why I've never heard of it. Already gone. Okay, cool. ColorSys stayed. It's fine. I really don't like file input. Some people really like this module, but I really don't like it. I wish it died. Lib2-3, fine, keep it. Gap. This should die. This should go away. Optparse should also go away too, but unfortunately a lot of stuff still uses it, including Flake 8, which I'm planning to fix that part at some point, but I haven't done that yet. Wave. Cool, keep it, fine. Future maintenance of removed modules. Legacy lib.
If you talk all the time.
Update 2, keep the ColorSys module. Okay, cool. Anyway, I don't know. I think most of those make sense. I don't think there's much that I would miss out of there. The ColorSys module is basically the only one that I thought I would miss. But since it's gonna be kept, I don't really care. Cool. That one's not interesting. This one is not super interesting. People of Python Lens didn't and won't let them to remove ColorSys. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think it's good to keep ColorSys. Oh, I fixed a couple of syntax errors in Vexoy while I was sick too. Turns out the new like AST compiling stuff is somehow less stable than the than the manual bytecode manipulation that was happening before, which is silly. The first one was like a super surprise to me. This is something I had never heard of before, but apparently in old versions of Python 2, do I have an old one? I have Lucid. That one might be old enough. I don't even know if I can remember how to reproduce this, though. Do I have an editor? VI? Oh, I do have VI. Oh, it's actual VI. Oh, this is Python 2.6. This might be too old. Apparently this is a syntax error? No? Apparently there's some like syntax error in Python 2.7.5, but not in 2.7.10, where if you have an exec inside of a function that has whatever nested free variables are, oh maybe... shoot, I pressed enter too many times. Is this what this means? Yeah, okay. So if you have nested functions, you can't use exec for some reason, although this works completely fine in modern Python, which is why I didn't recognize it as a bug, but this is apparently a syntax error in 2.7, or in old versions of 2.7. So I had to fix that in Vexoig, which was dead simple. It's just like take the exec and put it in a different function. Take it from over here and put it over there. So that was an easy fix. Oh, I fixed a bunch of CRLF problems in various pre-commit hooks. So first was in fixing coding pragma. And then I also noticed them in double quote string fixer. Let's fix those two. Oh, this was an interesting bug. And this is actually what caused me to fix the CPython bug that I'll get to in a bit. So if you have a file which ends in a backslash, it doesn't tokenize for whatever reason. Well, I mean, it doesn't tokenize for a good reason. Like, it tokenizes all these parts and then sees the backslash, and then searches forward for a statement continuation, but then reaches the end of the file and results in an error. But the interesting part is it parses fine, and so it can run fine, but it can't tokenize. So I had to add essentially this same try except in a bunch of different places in pyupgrade so that it didn't crash. Because syntax errors in pyupgrade are treated as just no ops. Like, take the source, spit the source back out. But then I ended up being like, you know what, I can probably fix this. It's a really, really old bug, opened in 2008. And so I looked into fixing it. I wrote this test, someone else wrote this test, and I just copy and pasted it. But there ended up being two bugs. The first was when it reached this escape sequence, which is what's going on here. Yeah, so if it sees a line continuation, it was just continuing on as if nothing had happened. So I made it double check whether there's an end of file directly afterwards, and if there is, then there's an error. The other bug was the parser, the tokenizer, was always adding a new line at the end of the file, whether or not there was one already there, despite this comment being like, it didn't end in a new line, add one. And so I made it actually only add the new line when it didn't end in a new line. What is this leap code? Okay, maybe I'll look at this in a sec. Let me get through this first. I really don't like leak code, but Oh, edit distance between two words. You have 3 operations permitted on a word. Yeah, so I don't know the good solution to this. I know the bad solution, which is what I would try first, which is just like brute force everything. But this one is really hard, yeah. It's also like something that I would just grab an edit distance library and do it that way, because those things exist, and I don't know. I don't like thinking too hard about edit distance when it's not actually going to impact my day-to-day. I'm sure there's a good algorithm for it though, but or at least a good greedy solution. Like a good greedy solution would just be like find all the things that are the same and then figure out how to manipulate the parts that aren't. But you might not find the minimum edit distance by just taking a greedy approach. Anyway, so I fixed this parser bug in CPython, which was cool. There was also another bug in pyupgrade where it would try and, I guess I can show that, let's see. 1.17.0 would have this problem, I think. So this is technically valid syntax, I think. Install 6. Yeah, so this is valid syntax, but pyupgrade would make... Wait, oh, I need py3 plus. Pyupgrade would turn it into this mangled garbage, which is no longer valid syntax. And so I fixed pyupgrade to notice when there's star arguments there and not do the rewrite there. Any suggestions to understanding about dynamic programming? So most of dynamic programming is really just like caching intermediate values, at least in my experience. Like most of dynamic programming is just like caching stuff. And so like the naive example that everyone for whatever reason uses is compute Fibonacci of n, which is compute Fibonacci, which is return, or I guess if n is equal to 0, return 0, I guess in, was it if n is less than 2, return n? Else return compute fib n minus 1, or n minus 2 plus. Yeah, so this is like compute Fibonacci. Oh, right. I gotta turn that off. Someone suggested that I should turn on auto indent for Nano. I just really don't like it. I'd rather press tab a bunch of times. And this, I think, works. No. 5? Wait a minute. 5 should be compute Fibonacci of 3. Oh, it's 1? Yeah, okay, there we go. I know how to write Fibonacci, I promise. Oh, actually, no, that was right. Because it's 0, 1, 1. 5 just happened, like, let's see. 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5. And so the 5th index was 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it just happened to be one that lined up, right? Right? Surely. Yeah. This works. It's fine. But if we did like 100, it's really, really slow. Sorry. Still sick. Really, really slow because it's basically doing this computation like an exponential number of times, which we don't have time for that shit. But the nice thing about all of these computations is if we save them, if we save this recursive call and then like keep it in a cache, the values for whatever n are going to be constant and they're never going to change. And you can do that pretty easy in Python by just using LRU cache. And if we want an unbounded cache, which in this case like is probably fine because we're just computing a bunch of small integers. And now if you run that, it completes almost instantly. Is that really Fibonacci of 100? That seems way bigger than I expect. Wolfram. I guess so. Cool. This is the number we got. Exactly the same as their number. Okay, cool. Yeah, but anyway, like the basic idea around dynamic programming is finding computable chunks that build up to your problem solution that you can cache and reuse. I find that in modern programming, you don't actually use dynamic programming, or like, it's not for that, right? I don't think I really use dynamic programming much at all. And if I do, I don't think about it as dynamic programming. I think about it more as like caching. I realize they're not exactly the same, but that's how I think about it. So that's my dynamic programming 101. I'm not going to implement this. It would not be that interesting for me to hack through this. And I already described my like crappy approach to it. Also, I think this is like way too hard. Japanese eye. The fuck is this? Oh, interview frequency data. Man, if somebody asked me this in an interview, I'd just be like, no. I'd be like, import edit distance, return edit distance. You don't have to, it's really hard. Yeah. Now you're trying to bait me to do it. I see how it is. Yeah, what else did I work on? So libsass made a release upstream, and so I've been meaning to do this for a while, but didn't have a good reason to. The build for this binding of libsass that I maintain, called libsass Python, used to use Appfair and Travis to run all of its CI builds, and they would take forever to run. It was my least favorite part of maintaining this and like doing releases. Like I would dread, oh well, I'm gonna have to make a release. I'm gonna have to sit here for an hour and a half while Windows builds in serial and like twiddle my thumbs while only half of the packaging is uploaded, and I can't walk away from the computer because that would leave the release halfway done, and I just hated doing it. But Azure Pipelines is a much better alternative, and I was able to convert all of the tests to run properly on them. Most of that was just like moving some of the files around, updating all the docs. Yeah, more documentation update, adding a configuration which builds the environments, and this was basically like run pre-commit, run talks on Windows, run talks on Windows again, but this time for 32-bit. I don't know why we support 32-bit. Apparently a lot of people still use it though. And then run talks on Linux. And this is a file that helps with the release. And that's more docs updates. I had to adjust how the coverage instrumentation worked, but it's not super interesting. Basically, there's this startup thing that runs, which makes coverage automatically instrument, and I had to twiddle how we use that. Also found that this test was sensitive to the new lines on the checkout, so I had to fix that. Which Azure's default, for whatever reason, is to check out with CRLF, which I don't think is a good idea, but I don't know. I don't run a CI system, so I guess I don't have a valid opinion there. Yeah, other than that, it was mostly just like change from two things to one thing, delete a bunch of API keys, and after doing this, I managed to get the build down to under 6 minutes, which and I added a whole interpreter, which was crazy too. But yeah, I got the whole build in under 6 minutes, which is crazy. But I was pretty proud of that. Then I did the new release of libsass, which was cool. Oh, I found a bug while releasing that for whatever reason just Python 2.7 would crash on a test file inside the upstream. And easy peasy, just delete that file. It worked, but good enough. And these are more fixes for Werkzeug. And oh, and I made a new thing. This little dot right here really bothers me in that underline. I know why it's there. I mean, it makes sense, but it's just kind of annoying. I made a new Flake8 plugin called Flake8 Typing Imports, and this is actually inspired based on a mistake that I made while releasing Flake8 a while back. Let's see if I can find that issue. Author. What's his name? Ben? This is his normal handle that he uses everywhere else. Oh, maybe he uses this handle? This one. So this was a bug. Who's his handle? Breets. Okay, fine. This was a bug that I made in Flake8's 3.7 release. Because I was importing the type member from the typing module. But the typing module has changed a lot, and the version of Python 3.5 that I was testing against was 3.5.6 or 3.5.7. 3.5.7, which was new enough to have this attribute in the typing module. But it turns out this type was introduced partway through the 3.5 release in a patch version, and old versions of this patch version didn't have this. And so what I did is I made a linter that now prevents that sort of problem. And so if you had this import by itself and you said the minimum Python version is 3.5.0, you now would get a Flake8 error if you have this plugin installed. That's the basic idea behind this thing. It's pretty straightforward on how it works. I'll show that. I would have written this on stream, but I was really sick that day. Or I guess this was yesterday. Yeah, oh well. I was not feeling well yesterday, so I didn't do that on stream. But part of the script is I've recorded all the attributes of the typing module. This is probably the worst part of this plugin, because these are all like I had to generate them, and whenever a new Python version comes out, I'll probably have to regenerate them. But basically, I have a bunch of mappings from the Python version to all of the stuff that's in their typing module, all the way up until 3.7.3. And then I wrote an AST visitor, which just looks for from imports. The AST visitor also keeps track of what level, like what nesting level it's running at. Basically, so it only finds imports that are at the top level, because it just assumes that every other import is guarded by something, which not the best assumption, but it works pretty well. And then I had to figure out this is just like kind of an ironic moment for me. I had to figure out how the Flake8 plugin system works, because I know how the code works for it, but I had never actually written a Flake8 plugin myself, and so I had to open up the docs and read through them and try and figure out how Flake8 plugins work. I remember it was yesterday. It wasn't that long ago. Yesterday I had opened up a bunch of different Flake8 plugins that other people have written, because I was like, man, how does this shit work? But no, there's some parts about the plugin API that I really don't like. So the first part that I don't like, this is probably fine. This part I'm fine with. As part of Flake8 startup, it calls each plugin and says like, hey, add your global options. And so that part's fine. So this should happen at the global scope. This is essentially stateless, it just mutates this input. The part that I don't like is Flake8 then calls back once it has received the options and says, hey, here's the options, set global variables for them, which I don't like, because I don't know, global variables are pretty fragile, and it severely constrains how your API is set up, and I just, you know, this is probably my least favorite part of this API. But I closed my eyes and pretended it was okay, and mutate the class as a side effect of this parse options. But other than that, the linter is pretty simple. Just like take the AST tree and parse it, or like pass it through my visitor, and then massage the error messages, and you have yourself a linter. That's kind of the basics of a Flake8 plugin. You implement this class, which has name and version. You can parse options if you need them, and your init method says what attributes you'll receive. In my case, I only needed the AST tree. I didn't care about all the other stuff, but there's like 10 or 20 different things you can ask Flake8 for, and it'll hand them to you. So you can get like the tokenization, you can get like, logical lines, you can get the source, you get a file name, all sorts of stuff. But I only needed the AST tree, so it was easy for me. And then you implement a run function, and Flake8 will build your class for every file that it runs. You generally want to keep this as cheap as possible. But that's a Flake8 plugin. That's the one I wrote. Yeah. Also, my first pass at generating this data here was pretty wrong. I trusted the double under all of the module, which I learned is pretty inaccurate. And in fact, I've made some PRs to CPython to hopefully improve those. So I wrote a little test that should hopefully keep it more in sync, but like, it was missing a few classes that had been there for multiple versions. But now hopefully they'll not get missed in the future. I also noticed that the docs for when things got added were off in a bunch of places. So I corrected them where I could. Some of them were just wrong. Great. But whatever. Anyway, that concludes my like wrap up of my last week and change of being sick. And so now we're gonna actually work on stuff, which is cool. Oh, B asked, do you know how I can use the os.path functions in the C API? I think there's pyos, C API, Python. I could have sworn there was OS API, C API, Python. Huh, I thought there were stuff that exposed it. And the modules are certainly in Python. Oh, these aren't the like os.path module itself. I mean, what you can do is import. Star.c. Does anything else use that? Git grep. I guess not. But one thing that you can do is you can actually just import and use functions in C. I think this has an example. It's not the most elegant, but it's certainly the same way that that normal Python code would access those things. So in this example, this toPy value function imports the Sass module and then grabs some attributes off of it. This one also does that. This imports the traceback module and calls format exception. This is probably the closest to an example that you would want. So hopefully something like that can help you out. Oops. Don't do that. That's actually Sass imports. Here I import the collections module, or collections ABC, I guess. It's so annoying that they moved the ABCs out of collections ABC. I know why they did it though. It's for startup time, but like, kind of annoying. Yeah, I bet this is fixed. I bet this has been fixed for forever. Let's see. Resolved. My object is instance. Dictionary variable mapping is false. Huh. Weird. Anyway, that's how that would work. Yeah, that's the stuff that I've worked on. The thing that I wanted to work on today is one part of pyupgrade, so I can finally close this issue after so freaking long of being open, which is this 6 rewriting issue. And I've slowly chipped away at it over the last almost year. It's not almost a year. November, December, January, February, March, April, May. Half a year. I've been slowly fixing different parts of this, and there's one checkbox that's not done yet. So I wanna do this. It's gonna be tricky. I'm gonna have to do some research, but you'll get to see the thought process that I go through stuff to get things done. But yeah, the basic idea for this is going to be removing this 6.add meta class decorator, and then finding the class after it and adding meta class to it. But that one's going to be tricky. We'll see what we can do. Upgrade. What is t.py? What is the decorator called? Add meta class. What kind of data structure would you store a spreadsheet in? Probably just a 2-dimensional. Well, it depends on what kind of sheets.google.com. It depends on like whether. No, I know how to use Google Sheets. Oh wait. Is this the account with? No. I don't have my other account. Oh, now you guys know my email. Shit. Well, that was a bit unavoidable. Guess you guys know my personal email now. Fuck. I wanted to show you one of my sheets anyway. So like, it depends on what your spreadsheet is going to do. Like, is your spreadsheet just sheet one, or does it also have to manage multiple sheets? My naive guess is that it's just going to be one sheet here, which I would probably, like, let's say we're doing Python. I guess that would be mutable. So it would probably be like cells would be a list of cells, kind of like a two-dimensional array, and cell must be sheet. This is an interview question. This feels like an interview question. A cell would have data, which is probably just gonna be a string, and at least for like modern spreadsheets, you would have like some sort of formatting, which I don't know, could also be a string. But you may instead have this be a different structure, which is like data being a union of the different types that you could represent here. I don't know, depending on how you set it up. I guess you could also have formula, which would be like something like this. And then the tricky part comes when you need to like make an update to your sheet. And I know this gets asked as an interview question because I've been asked this interview question before about like how do you make an efficient spreadsheet update. And so like if I got a command that said like A1 is now equals A2 plus A3, I would need to like compute the value of A1 and then compute any values that depend on A1. And so I would probably also build like a private depths tree here that's like mapping from that's a mapping from one position to its downstream dependencies. That way you would know, you'd be able to find all of these quickly. You could also, before doing any of this, you could find all of the cycles and figure out whether they converge or not. But am I hired? But yeah, I would do something like this. Can you put that sheet into this example and print it? How about I do like some subset of this sheet? Like these cells here. Oh, that doesn't have the formulas. Let's just do like some simple sheet that's a series of commands, I guess, maybe. Yeah, we'll just have like space separated commands. So let's do a simple sheet. sketch. Probably not going to use that, but let's make a really crappy spreadsheet. What did I say my sheet was going to be? A bunch of cells? Let's make it 10 by 10, I guess. So that gives us a sheet. And we'll start with an empty set of dependencies. ASCII uppercase. Yeah. Let's see, column, row, formula equals line dot strip dot split space 2. We'll only support a very simple operation, I guess. Can the sheet have column names? Yeah, that's what I did here. So like this column name would be A. Like headers? Yeah, I don't see why not. So I could say like A. Let's just do like the most basic case. So we have a header, we have a number, and then a formula that's A2 plus 1. Will be our input commands. So our easiest case is if call idx equals string.ascii uppercase dot index call. As this will allow us to convert A into a 0 instead. Which will get our column index. Row index will be row -1. And then if formula dot starts with equals formula dot parse Okay, so if it starts with equals and we have a formula, I think we need deps and rdeps actually. Forward dependencies and reverse dependencies. The forward dependencies will be we need to remove. So one, we need to remove anything that mentions A1, and we need to. Actually, we just need to remove the forward dependencies. Yeah. So forward deps of column index, row index equals formula.parse data. We need to also populate the reverse dependencies. I guess we have to remove... Oh, this is annoying. That sheet is confusing. It's 3 columns named A. Oh no, these are 3 commands. So this is like set A1 to this, set A2 to this, set A3 to this. It'll actually end up producing a sheet that looks like this. This will be the output, which is in A. This is what the output will look like, but just as a series of commands to make it easier to input. Let's not do formulas yet. We'll do those later. Those are harder. If data dot is digit, so if it's an integer, we're only gonna handle integers because it's gonna be easy. Let's see. Sheet row idx, call idx equals data, or int data. Can we sort? What do you mean by sort? Not sure what you mean. I think I made a table printer once. You can probably reuse that. Tabulate. No, let's use name tuples. Let's steal some of this code though. I'm curious how multiple column sorting would work. I don't know what you mean. You mean like... Oh, like sorting data based on columns? That's easy. So let's say, I mean, I can just show you without implementing the spreadsheet part of it. Let's make something obviously sortable in here. Or we'll do it in reverse order, and then... And we'll make these sort in a specific way. So let's say like we have columns. Wait, how am I gonna do this? So let's say we wanted to, how would we write a function for this? Sort sheet by sheet and columns, I guess. And columns would be a list of integers. So this is actually, I've simplified the problem a little bit by having each row be its own list here, because really what Excel is doing is just rearranging the rows. So let's say down here, just for example's sake, I guess we would also want a print sheet. go. One, two, three. 4 row in sheet, 4 row widths. What is the formula for this? What is it? Space, colon, space, right. Oops. Colon, space, right. Colon space thing dot format 1a. Here space. Oh, it should be space colon. Invalid format specifier. Sign not allowed in string format specifier. Oh, I forgot the arrow. Okay, so it's value and then width. Okay. D width. So we should have a print sheet function. Let's put some. Sorry, just trying to make this look good. For header in zip range length of sheet 0. Widths. Print. Okay, I think this should print something now. Let's see. Nope, we got an infinite loop somehow. What did I mess up here? Width equals 1 times the length of sheet 0. This is quite the rabbit hole you've sent me down. Oh, this is not the T that I wanted. We're working on T2.py, so maybe it works. Sheet is not defined. What's up, live coding? Thank you for the follow. That's what I'm doing right now. That's a good name. Wait, isn't there a website called live coding? This is not the one I thought of. Anyway, pretty sure there's a live coding thing. There was, I think it died. Oh. Well, what sort of live coding do you do, live coding? So I assume you do some. Oh, it was called input sheet. That's why. Int object is not iterable. Oh, I keep opening this old file. This should be enumerate row. What's up? Alan is good. Nice. I am a lazy man. Last streamed on Justin TV. Damn, that's some old school shit. I remember Justin TV. Oh man, those are the days. I feel like the only things that I watched on Justin TV though were like punk rock stuff, or like cooking. Actually, oddly enough, Justin TV was a different. That was a different time. What do you mean invalid syntax? Oh, Python 3. Type error must be stir, not int. I need some parentheses. And I need this. Okay, we have our sheet printing. I didn't copy and paste this down here. Look, I've printed a spreadsheet. I should put a header row here. And if we make these longer, it should adjust them. Cool. Build a crabby spreadsheet. Anyway, the sorting that I want to do. Can we make a cell function to access a specific cell value using indexes? I mean, we don't have to really build a function for that, because, I mean, I kind of already did it here. Like, you would just convert this to the index. But let me do this sheet blah blah blah. Just trying to get me to say sheet as many times as I can. Right. So let's say these columns are just indexes, and so let's say we wanted to sort based on index 2 and then index 0. So let's do new sheet equals sort sheet input sheet and then 2 and 0. And then we'll print sheet new sheet. Oh my god, are you programming in Nano? I have never seen that before. Well, you're from Mars, so you know what? Yes, I am actually programming in Nano. I am a complete noob. I don't know what I'm doing. Definitely haven't programmed for forever. I'm definitely pressing the arrow keys, so that'll make you feel like I'm even more of a noob. But yes, I do program in Nano. It's not great. It gets the job done. I'm good at it, so I keep doing it. So the basis for how I'm going to be sorting this is I'm going to build a key function, which is going to take in the row, and it's going to build a derived key for how I'm going to sort that row. And the way I'm going to do that is index into the row and build a column out of it. So in this example, when we're doing column 2, we're going to build a tuple that's going to look like this. B1, and then A1, A2, and then A1 again. And then we're going to use this as the sort key, and that'll allow us to reshuffle the rows. And to make it more of a stable, or like a better sort, so I think Excel does this, it just like auto uses the rest of the rows. Actually, it's a stable sort already, so we don't have to do anything there, but if we wanted to automatically sort the rest of the columns from like left to right, we can do that also. But let's just do this to begin. So the key function is how we're going to generate those keys, and then Python provides us a sorted function. So we can just do sorted sheet, and then key equals key function. And so if we run this now, sheet is not defined. What do you mean sheet is not defined? Oh. List A. Yeah, so what we did is we sorted based on C and then A. And so C is now sorted A, B, C. And then we sorted on A, so we should have within A, we should have 1, 1, and then 2. And this row should be first, so we see AA 5, 6, and those are the same. Let me make those different. So it's a stable sort, so it won't reorder stuff from this relative ordering, so it'll keep this AA 5, 9 first. And then this one will be next. We have that there, and then we have A being a different number, so we get that sorted next, and then these are sorted based on their row C. So that's basically how you would write a sorter. Although I spent most of this printing the damn spreadsheet and not. This is actually kind of cool, so I'm gonna save this in my Scratch directory. What's different here? Oh, I changed my PS1 for streaming so that my command all shows up on one line with a $sign at the beginning. Although at work, what I do is I have the $sign over here because that's how I like it. But I might switch to use this everywhere because it's consistent. It's nice. Python print spreadsheet.py. This is like a cool example. Anyway, it's kind of cool. Let's make one of these numbers bigger. But anyway, so let's add that. Git add Python. Let's see. I've never seen that before. Come to the dark side that is Vim. I do know how to use Vim. I'm not. That's the other part that I usually say. It's like I'm not a complete noob. Look, visual mode, look, sorting stuff. Look, I can quit. I can quit without saving. Look, I know how to Vim. The real dark side is programming in Notepad. Ah, that brings me back to my olden days. Programming in Notepad. I wrote so many websites in Notepad, which is why their code is almost entirely unintelligible garbage. I can show you some of the unintelligible old garbage that I used to write. Let's see. With capitalized file names. Some good shit back then. Well, this actually isn't that bad. It's at least indented nicely. This is probably after I rewrote it. Oh, I don't like this style of ors though. I don't know why I did that back then. But this was all written in Notepad. This is operating system detection. Oh, does this have any passwords? Please no passwords, please no passwords. SQL injection! Although I think I used... Oh no, there's definitely just a SQL injection there. Yikes. Oh well. Rip. I think I fixed this though. I don't think this is the actual code that's running in production right now, but this stuff powers this that I wrote years and years ago, which is this like IP address image generation website. But anyway, some real old Astili code. Let's see. The real dark side is web-based Microsoft Word. Man. Microsoft front page, I remember that shit. That, some real ugly web pages came out of that. I guess technically Microsoft Word can generate HTML also, but yeah, gross. Let's see. That terminal prompt is actually pretty fancy and useful. Hey, thanks, Shoddy, for the resub. How's it going, friend? I'm catching up on chat right now because I'm pretty far behind. Let's see. That terminal prompt is actually pretty fancy and useful. It's basically the Debian one, but a little bit of customization. If you want a link to it, I believe it is in here. Yeah, this one. Although, like, half of it's not super useful. Like, this chunk here, I guess it's useful. This chunk here sets the title bar. And then this says username at hostname, which is this part here in green, which is what this character code is. And then there's a colon, and then the working directory is printed in blue, and then just $sign in space. Not that fancy, but it gets the job done. Blah 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 blah. Ryan Roberts says, "I've got good news." Good news. God damn it! I have good news. I'm so congested. You have good news. The basic building block concept clicked for me. That's good. Did you say that the data structure would be a list of lists? Yes. I mean, that's the easiest way to represent it in Python. In better languages, you would probably use like 2D arrays or a long array with modular-based indexing. But yeah, list of lists is how I set it up here because it's just easy that way. Took about 5 months, but people today, it should click in a year. I'm not gonna lie, Google and YouTube is teaching me more than professors. Yeah, I mean, I think I learned way more by just hacking on shit than I ever did from teaching or like people teaching me. But that's just me. Spreadsheet printer because it was cool. Anyway, that's. I could do more on the spreadsheets, but I kind of actually want to work on some stuff before the stream's over. I want to build the thing that I wanted to build. But this is kind of a cool problem and like thing to think about. And this is the algorithmic approach that I would take to it. And this function just looks like a bunch of mangled garbage now that I'm looking back on it. But I can explain each part. Each part isn't actually that complicated. Like the first part here, we're computing the maximum width to display in each column by going over every row in the sheet and computing basically the widest thing that we can see in that column. Oh, this is actually broken. Wait, how does it work? Oh, it only worked because these are 1 character wide. Let's see. And these are all the same width. There's actually a bug here. I think I wanted this here. Bang R. Maybe. Invalid format specifier. Let's go here. Yeah, this is what I actually wanted it to do. Because I wanted it to show that it's a string. Where is that? Fix this here. yeah. Anyway, we built this thing. I want to actually do code now. Not saying that wasn't code, but this was the basic strategy that I would take for a spreadsheet. But I don't have time to implement it. Sorry. I want to actually work on things. Okay. Anyway, the thing that I'm working on, not Google Sheets, not this stuff. Going well. Glad to see you're back. Yeah, I mean, I'm mostly back. I'm still kind of sick, but I decided that I didn't want to lay in bed anymore, and I can mostly talk. Although, still, like, congested, whatever. But I can mostly talk, so that means I can mostly stream. What do you think the max size sheet you could store before overflowing the stack? Well, in Python, I can get away with a lot, because it's not actually on the stack in Python. But like, I don't know, let's say I wanted to do 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. Let's say 10,000 to start with. So we'll do a 10,000 by 10,000 sheet, which would just be sheet equals 0 times n for underscore in range n. So here's a 10,000 by 10,000 sheet, which is doable, but takes... Well, it's not even in my top memory? Oh yeah, it is. It takes 10% of my RAM. What is it, Shift E? It changes this at the top. I don't know how to get human readable variables down here. I guess 10% of 8 gigs is like less than a gigabyte. And there's no reason you would need anything. I mean, I guess there could be reasons, but like your spreadsheet probably doesn't need to be larger than 10,000 by 10,000. So like webs. And also in Python, it's not stored on the stack. All objects are stored on the heap. But if you're going to do this on the stack, you would be limited much smaller than that. Although you can always get away with that in like C++ by using vector, and vector will be heap stored, so you can basically get infinite space that way. Well, not infinite space. It's obviously bounded by how much physical memory you have, but it would be the search time for 10,000 by 10,000. If you wanted to just like index into a specific cell, it would be like instant, like 01. Because indexing into a list is 01, and indexing into 2 lists is also 01. This summer, I plan to learn the fundamentals such as arrays, memory allocation, pointers, data stores, and improve my problem solving and learn C++. I think that's all doable in a summer. And hopefully I can get time for object-oriented programming. What you are having in there? What? What's up, TBCX? I'm not sure what you mean. What am I working on? What am I doing? My plan is to do this syntax rewriting, but I haven't started on it yet. So let's do that. And the first step to that is going to be writing some tests for it. We're going to come down here and write some... Let's fix classes. That's not what I want. Fix 6 no-op. This is where I want to write code. We have a couple of cases that we want to handle once we actually get down here. So we're going to do 6.add meta class and then m. Does that even work? So this is an old style class in Python 2. I'm wondering, my thought process is, does add meta class work for old style classes? So I want to see whether I have to support needing to parse these parentheses or not. I'm hoping that it... I'm kind of hoping that it does support it, but it would be easier if it didn't. Oh, what would you have to do if you searched by a string? I guess it would be linear over that large number, so 10,000 by 10,000. It would have to check each of them. So, still not terrible, but, I mean, not the fastest thing ever. I got the concept of classes and objects, which was easy. When it clicked, do you feel freaked out? I mean, the first time, like, some concepts in programming clicked for me, yeah, it was definitely, like, it was pretty much like, oh, now it makes sense! Everything is way easier now! Before that, I was like, what the f is going on here? But it's been a long time since that has been that way for me. abc.abstract method. So this should fail. Can't abstract. Yeah, cool. And this should work. Okay, so it doesn't have to be a new style class here. This works with old style classes also. Which meta classes don't work with old style classes, but 6 does some magic to make it work properly. I felt like my mind predicted and problem solved. My mouth said what the program would run, and my fingers were typing. I have the power to do the codes. YouTube and Google helped it click for me. I think most of what I learned is from Stack Overflow and Google. I actually realized what he meant by variables, data types, loops, and ifs. It's doable in a day with YouTube. Well, maybe not a day. I think you need a little bit more time for that. Dude, I was like, if is easier than I thought it was. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's starting to click for my brother, which I'm really happy about. He's starting to just like pick up programming and like not really think too much about it. We've done a bunch more on his notes, by the way. If you want his notes, here's the link in the chat for that. But we did classes recently, which he kind of like had an intro to in some other supplemental material that he was working on, but we went over like what a decorator is, which he really doesn't get decorators, and that's completely fine because decorators are complicated. But I was just like, don't think about what it does. Here's how it actually works, but don't think about it too hard. Just know that these ones do. This one turns it into a static method. This turns it into a class method. That sort of thing. We talked about naming. He forgot to put ticks around here. He'll have to go back and fix that. Oh, he forgot to fix this too. We talked a little bit about inheritance, about supercalling. We did exception handling, which I basically was like, here's how it works. You probably don't need to use this very often, but here's how it works. And that was pretty fine. Also we went over like HTTP and REST. Talked about the ternary operator, which he hadn't seen before. Talked about JSON. Good old JSON. We talked about comprehensions. He really likes comprehensions, which, like, that's fair. They're pretty cool. I had to, like, caution him, like, don't rewrite all your loops as comprehensions, because, like, sometimes you should write a loop because it's easier to read sometimes, but I don't know. That's most of the stuff that we've covered since like last time I've talked about this. Oh, we talked about sets. He did not get sets at all. I wrote this really crappy my solid MS Paint drawing here for union, intersection, difference, and symmetric difference of sets. But yeah, super artistic drawing. MS Paint for life. If you pulled 5 rows with 8 columns from a database, would you store the values in a list or an object? I guess it depends on how you want to use it. Like, that might be that 5 rows with 8 columns might be 5 objects, where the objects have attributes that are the columns. That's the typical pattern that an ORM, an object relational mapper, will use. But if you're just dealing with them as tuples or like lists or whatever, probably fine in a lot of cases too. Objects are nice in that case because you have the column names, unless they're like computed columns or anonymous columns, then you kind of don't. But like if you have the column names, yeah, might as well use objects. Or like some plain old data type or a name tuple or something like that. Do you think college is more like a C's and some D's get degrees mentality for students? It certainly wasn't that mentality for me. But I'm also like kind of as they say in Canada, a keener. I don't know. I like to do well at school, so I'm a bit of a tryhard. Not gonna lie. Honestly, like school is really like whatever you want to get out of it, get out of it. Like if you want to do well in school, then try hard and do well in school. If you want to meet people, then meet people. If you want to like learn a specific thing, then learn a specific thing. I don't know. School's kind of like a mixed bag. Like you can get out of it what you want to get out of it. This one Twitch streamer I watched who finished his degree was a C and D degrees mentality. That's not me. I was like disappointed if I got a B+. Because that's the way I roll. But I did get B+. I just was disappointed in some of them. But like, yeah, I don't know. Let's see. To be honest, a professor failing lots of people is bad because I'm pretty sure the professor would have to explain why so many fails happen. Yeah, and honestly, so from teaching a course, we kind of get a quota on what number of people we should pass each semester, and from that we tweak our grades based on that. So like the class I taught was Intro to Programming, and our quota, so to speak, for like passing and failing people was like only the bottom, I think it was like 3 to 5% of the class should fail, unless everyone did well. If everyone did well, then everyone passed. But that was not usually the case. Like usually there was a segment that just struggled, and usually we would try our best to like get that 2 to 5% to like, hey, like if you do an extra project, we'll bump up your grade and give you a D and you'll pass. And like we did that for a lot of people, but we like definitely had quotas for like how many people we couldn't, like if we failed above a certain amount, we just couldn't do that, and so we would bump the floor down to allow people to pass. And it was kind of shitty, like they didn't deserve to pass, but yeah, we did it. This looks like a Venn diagram. Yeah, this is definitely a Venn diagram. That's why I drew it. It's overlapping of 2 sets, and a set is a data type. You should tell your brother to take compilers. I wish I took compilers. It's basically the one like CS course that I never had time for, and I feel like it would have been the one. It probably would have been the class that I've gotten the most out of and still used it today. Because I don't really know shit about compilers. I pretend to know stuff, and like I know stuff about parse trees, and I deal with parse trees all the time. But I don't. I don't know. I would not be able to make a good compiler. I've made many bad parsers and compilers, but it happens. My academic advisor told me that she's like, you stress a lot. I mean, yeah, I stress a lot too. I got out that YouTube teaches me a college semester in a night. I mean, yeah. Knowing compilers is super advantageous. Yeah, TBC gets me. A B+ is the same as a B- at my university. Oh, ours were different. Pewty Wheat says, thanks, I appreciate your time. Yeah, no problem. I'm happy to answer questions whenever you have them. You were a professor or a TA? I was more of a TA, although I led discussion sections, so it was more like I was an undergraduate student instructor. We call them like USIs. It's like, what if everyone did well? Usually I get lots of B pluses. B pluses are good. Just I would want to do better than that because that's just how I am. I just hope in the upper class I don't get procrastinators in my group projects. That's the worst. Group projects suck. The reason. So the reason that I did well in group projects in my last couple of classes that required them is I found a group of friends that was good at group projects, and then we all took the same classes together, and then we all worked on the group projects together. And so I didn't have to deal with lazy motherfuckers that suck at group projects. Because everyone hates group projects until you have like a good group. And when you have a good group, then everything's all good. Although there were definitely some group projects like before I found a group of people where I didn't want a bad grade, so I just did the whole damn thing myself. Because why not? I couldn't take compilers because of a schedule conflict. Yeah, that was the same for me. I squeezed my CS degree into 2 years, and so I did not really have choices in the classes I could take. I had to like maximize the number of classes I could take each semester so that I could graduate. And so that meant like lining up the courses that didn't overlap, which meant that I didn't take compilers because it overlapped with other stuff. Doing a project by yourself sucks. Yeah, I know. I'm hoping I can sit behind everyone does everything for me. See, that's the bad mentality. You're the problem person of group projects. You're why we can't have nice things. Okay, but this is what I'm actually trying to do right now, is I'm trying to do these code rewrites. But there's no way that they work because I haven't written any code yet. But this is kind of my like test-driven development here. Do I have a virtual app here already? Apparently. Okay, so we have 2 failing tests, which is good. Let's see. Oh man, lots of stuff happened. Bruh, T-Series is greater than PewDiePie. Boom. Yeah, I can agree with that. PewDiePie is kind of a neo-Nazi scum. He's good at getting the views. He's good at stirring up people. I don't agree with his like political views and stuff, but he's good at getting all the YouTubes. Shotty says oof. I mean, I don't particularly like T-Series either, but like, I don't know. People like turning a blind eye to some of the stuff that he says and does in an effort to be like the YouTube creator of the people is kind of bullshit to me. But, you know. I just make my TAs do my labs. Yeah, good luck with that. Oh wait, I'm reading backwards. I already read these ones. Bruh, I need to get into engineering first. I'll know by next week, but I did all of their requirements. Oh. Usually for like getting into a program, or like, unless you're switching schools, like getting into a program is usually just like, I did the prereqs, I declare. Like, you want it, you got it, kind of deal. My GPA is above a 2.0, you have a 3.8. Then what, yeah, you're shooing, man. Like, 3.8's great. On a, is it on a 0 to 4 or on like a 0 to 5? College, I feel like, is more hard work than being smart. Well, if you're smart, you don't have to work hard. That's not really true, but... I had a 3.8 on a 1 to 4 scale. I ended with a 3.9 on a 1 to 4 scale. Although in CS I had a 4. Because I was an overachiever. If my GPA is above 2, they accept me in engineering. Oh, that's easy then. Not gonna lie, Khan Academy got me that 3.8. I would have failed Calc 2 if it weren't for that. Nice. I don't want to talk about the rest. Oh, that was just your first year. See, usually it's the opposite for people. Usually, like, they fuck around their first year and then do better after they realize that they need to work about stuff. But that sounds like you fell off after your first year, which I guess also happens. I have a friend majoring in math because he wants to Khan Academy everything. So that's different strokes for different folks, I guess. What am I doing? Okay, so for add meta class, I kind of want to find both the decorator and the class. What's the best way to do that with the class? Oh, so you only get it from the class def anyway. Oh. So I probably need to do the same thing as here. Sub.is 6 decorator. Add meta class. I'm leaving myself a note here because I know I have to test this, but I'm going to write a test before I actually write the code here, because otherwise I'll forget. Meta class. So I need both the class and the decorator. Class and the decorator. But the decorator will come first. So... Although, wait, I'm pretty sure the class offset is just garbage, so yeah. And it changes them by then 3.8. Oh man, I gotta catch up on chat again. I don't fuck around, I just want the degree. I see. I hate taking the train to downtown Chicago, it sucks. Yeah, I hear that's a lot of work. I hate doing projects, I usually get 100% on things done in the labs. Yeah, well, sometimes you have to do work outside of school. I have to do it. I have an upperclassman training me and I have the work ethic to succeed. Well, that sounds like a good situation. As long as I don't slack, I'll be fine. Yeah. Math classes are easy besides the finals. Yeah. YouTube nowadays is better than most schools. Yeah, you can learn a lot for free on YouTube. So if we have a bunch of decorators, see in Python 2, yeah, the class def says that it's at line 1, which is garbage. Because the class is actually at line 3, but I think they changed this in Python 3.8. Maybe? Yeah, in Python 3.8 they fixed it, so now it points at line 4 instead of line whatever it was before, line 1. Yeah, because it's actually at line 4. But in 3.6, yeah, 3.6 is still broken. Okay, so the class offset is useless here. The decorator offset's the useful bit, and so I'll just have to walk forward to find the class. Which isn't the worst, but that should find it. Store dot 6 add meta class. I don't know why I did this weird thing, but I could just do file tokens. Why didn't I do that before? What is this break? Retest, so I failed the test. What did I break? What did I break? What did I break? Oh, I wrote a test particularly guarding against this case. But now I can just, now it just fixes it. We'll take that failed test and turn it into a new test. Weird spacing at the beginning of a decorator. Well, we handle that weird spacing. Back to 2 failing tests? Okay, cool. Oh man, so much chat. YouTube taught me Calc 2. Wow, that's impressive. Derek Bannis taught me Python in 2 hours. Who is Derek? Is the YouTube person? Huh.
Well, hello, Internet, and welcome to my YouTube channel.
Welcome to my YouTube channel.
Channel that is based around your requests. My
Sounds
channel
great.
is probably best known for creating computer programming learn in one.
Wow, lots of different languages.
I basically cover 300-page books in one giant tutorial while providing cheat sheets and all of the.
Cool, it's cool, it's cool, it's cool. JavaScript. Where's the like Python one? Qt, C++, Blender, game programming, C#. Oh, C#. I miss C#. Wish I could write more. Django. There's some Python. How to learn to program. Oh, there we go.
Well, hello, Internet, and welcome to my
YouTube channel.
So, how do we convert that? Name input before, so of course, and if we save that and then we run it, we come down here, enter two numbers, and the two numbers we're going to enter are 5, remember the space, and a 4, hit enter, and it's going to go and output our data exactly.
That's pretty cool. Seems good. In here they teach only programming languages, not program design or any of those fundamentals. Maybe some data structures, but that's it. Yeah, they didn't really teach like how to write code. They just were like, here, good luck. Like, we didn't have any design courses. I guess we kind of had one, which was like object-oriented design, but only the crazy people took that, like me. That was actually a really good course though. It was 381 at Michigan. Which people don't take because they're afraid of failing, because it's a really hard course. It's like not curved at all, and the professor is super strict, and if you're not good, you're not gonna pass. Look up Joe Hummel on Rate My Professor. Joe Hummel, Rate My Professor. Holy. See, when websites do this, it just like really bothers me. Like, oh, you're using ad blocker. Well, go fuck yourself. Like, there's a good reason I'm using one. We're gonna use cookies. Blah 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 blah. Cool. Don't care. That's a good score. That's a great score for a professor. I wonder if I'm on Rate My Professor. Damn. There was an internal Rate My Professor at Michigan, and I definitely had scores on that. I had really good scores. People loved me. It's because I help people do all their projects, so. I'm learning Scheme now, not because of a class, though. Interesting. I actually haven't learned a functional language myself. Something that I would want to do eventually. He programmed an alarm for anyone who posted anything on Piazza. He answers questions at 2 a.m. That's fucking crazy. Then again, I answered questions at 2 a.m. on Piazza. We used to like have like competition among all of this. We didn't actually win anything, now that I think about it. We just competed for the sake of competing. Like who could get the answer the fastest, and like this was like the first time I had a smartphone, and I got like really good at typing out Piazza, typing out C++ on my phone, which was like, what a mess. Did you guys take computer science in high school? They didn't offer computers at all at my school. The only computing course at Oxford High School was Introduction to Microsoft Works. Not even Microsoft Word, Microsoft Works. Garbage. Not Microsoft Office, I mean. Works is like the knockoff product that Microsoft bought from somebody in the 90s. But that was play Minesweeper for me, and teach the person next to me how to play Minesweeper, because you girls are easy to teach Minesweeper. I don't fucking know. Let's see. Talking to a friend in high school, and I feel like high school is doing a bad job of preparing people who want to major in CS. Well, high school didn't do shit for me. Dude was in third level course for high school in CS and doesn't know variables are and doesn't know how to problem solve. That seems like real problem. I recommend HTDP. Never heard of this. How to design programs. Oh. Interesting. Probably a good book. Sounds good. I'm using HackerRank and LeetCode to improve my problem solving. It's a tech elective. Is it a tech elective? Oh. I feel like I should have learned some of that stuff much easier. My econ class of 75 was an A. Holy shit. Oh, it's such a mess. David's still in the chat. I remember his Calc 2 class, their like exam average was like an 18% or something ridiculous. Maybe it was like a 30% or something, but it was real bad. CS is still a new thing for high schools. Computational thinking is a very recent thing in education, sadly. Yeah. Most CS teachers in high school are math teachers, yeah. 32 is curved to a C, was not great. Yeah, that class is such a mess. Oh man. Just like the most severe curve I've ever seen. That class was so bad. Like the teacher was just awful, and the exams were just awful, and the class size was awful. It was just such a mess. Alright. Okay. So we're to the point where we just need to find the decorator, remove it, and well, just. I say just like it's simple. Yeah. We have our basic test case. Babby. The funny thing about Babby, it's a one character shift over on my keyboard, but it actually works because I've typed it so many times that I put in an alias. Thank you, TDNZap, for the follow. Every follow counts. Oops. Clicking on my dashboard. It's like slightly colored incorrectly. I was wondering why. Like it bolds all of the follow notifications, but not the subscription notifications, which I don't understand. Streamlabs, why? Consistency is hard, I guess. Another class. You didn't have Khan Academy. Yeah, it's true. What the hell is an O series? I know about convergent and divergent series, but what is an O series? Oh, P series, okay. Gotcha. Nice to watch programming streams where the music isn't 200 decibel techno rap, but somebody actually talking. Yeah, I like to keep my music down and chill. In fact, like the name of the playlist that I use is called Chill/Ambience. It's supposed to be nice and relaxing, so that I don't like lose my damn mind while writing code. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Janky, unindent. It works though. Okay, so what this does is we're looking at a token that represents the decorator. We iterate backwards to find the at, and then we iterate forwards to find the new line. And then we delete all of that stuff. What was my hardest CS course? My hardest CS course was a class called EECS 381, which I talked about briefly before, which was called Object-Oriented and Advanced Programming. It was taught by Kiris, who is an exceptionally brilliant dude. He has a lot of quirks, though. And he keeps all of his projects up online. But basically we had to like implement the C standard lib and then some C++ standard library and then learn everything there is to know about C++ 11. Although I think it's like C++ 14 probably now, unless this hasn't been updated in a while. What year? 2018. Oh, so they probably should be doing C++ 14. Although they're probably still stuck on whatever crappy Red Hat machines which don't have modern GCC, so sucks to suck for them. But that class was the actual, like the only one that I actually had to work hard for. The rest were just easy peasy. But the only reason that one was hard was because it was a lot of content and a lot of like nitpicky stuff. And it was like the only course that actually stressed style and design, where all the other ones were just like throw code at a wall until it works. Did you feel like all your courses were manageable to pass? Yeah, my courses were all pretty easy. The hardest, like, I guess non-CS course, the hardest class that I took was probably, well, there was one course where it was just like legit unfair because the lab professor played favorites and like made the class harder for some people than other people, and that class is bullshit. But I think my hardest course is probably some biochemistry course where I had to memorize a bunch of shit. Just because, like, memorizing is annoying. First time I've seen serious editing in Nano, I like it. Nano's not good. I happen to use it, and I'm pretty good at it, so it happens, I guess. Alright, so we move this to a remove decorator. Good. Where's the other meta class ones? We'll probably put it near those. Sure. 6 add meta class. So we're gonna eventually remove decorator at tokens I. For that, we need to capture the meta class, and then we need to insert that into, or insert meta class equals args, what is it, arg0, I guess, into class. And then remove the decorator. So that's the plan. Was 381 a tech elective or a core class? It was a upper level elective. It was not part of the core, although it was in the same sequence as the core, but everyone stopped at 281 because that was all that people were required to take. At my university, everyone says data structures is the hardest. Yeah, that's the Weeder course for ours, was 281, which was data structures and algorithms. Object-oriented and advanced programming is such a non-descriptive name when you're basically expected to implement a standard lib. Yeah, super vague course title. But they could have also just called it like really fucking hard C++ course. It's like knitting for dummies, having you in charge of Nike. Yeah. My English teacher in high school was weird in 11th grade. Memorization is easy for me. I see. I write it down, it's like second nature to me. Yeah, that's the same for me. It's just like I didn't want to have to memorize all of the C++ stuff. Hey, what's up, Mindful Fox? Thank you for the resub. Hi, Lifty Boy. It me. I'm off to bed. Good night, good night. Have a good rest of the stream. Thanks for stopping by, David. Have a good one. I'm sure I'll see you around. Having to memorize something is a nightmare, especially when it's like real boring stuff, like amino acids and such. Actually, I had to take down my vocab quiz on my website because I moved it to a static site. I might rewrite it in JavaScript at some point, but yeah, I used to use that for my memorization things a lot because it made it easier. I can't memorize anything unless I understand how it works. History classes were the worst. Yeah. Sorry, sick, still. Bleh. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see. I love history because it's easy to remember. I don't know. I didn't particularly like history all that much. Okay, so what we need to do here is grab the class out of the meta class. Fortunately, I think I can just reuse all of this code up here. J equals find open paren tokens I func args and equals parse call args tokens J. Man, these helpers here have been like really, really useful. Node? What do I need the node for? I don't need the node. Let's see what that gets us. Did not stop. So clearly not what I wanted. Token.offset in visitor.6admin. Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Nothing. That is false somehow. Oh, I need decorator.func. Probably. Because it's a call. That's why. Okay. Okay, so it's picking up the offset now. And now we should have func args, which is 5 to 6. Which is our meta class. Sick. Okay. That's working. Oh boy, oh boy. Lots to scroll back, sorry. Do you have any mechanical keyboard recommendations? So I have never owned a mechanical keyboard myself, other than my shitty 2-key that I've showed you guys. My advice is if you're at home and you're not gonna piss off anyone else, like, go for as clicky keys as you can get, because clicky keys are nice. These are, oh man, what are the cherry switches? These are cherry, I don't remember. Well, they're dark blue, but I don't remember what that means. But I really like these ones because they're super loud. But basically, like, if you're gonna build a keyboard where you're gonna be in an environment with a bunch of other people, go for as quiet as possible. Because people will hate you, and they will throw stuff at you, and they will be real mad. And you'll be the least liked person in your office if you have loud, clicky keyboards. But if you can get away with clicky stuff, go for clicky stuff. I have done several different types of caps, although I only have these ones. Where's my other caps? Maybe I only got one type. I've done several types of caps. These ones are flat top. I don't know if you can see them. They're flat. This form factor. And these are pretty nice. I'd rather have shiny ones almost, but it depends on like how you want to grip your keys or not. The keys that I actually use on my actual keyboard are beveled a little bit, which is nice for like feeling the keyboard. Look at me pretending to know stuff about keyboards. I don't actually know that much. But yeah, I don't actually have any advice for actual keyboards because my keyboard is garbage. Because it's garbage. It just is. But yeah, sorry, I don't have much recommendation. But get clicky ones if you can. How do I unsub? Yikes, bud. Yikes. Let's see. Are you editing in Nano? Yes, I am. Who are you? I am editing in Nano like a complete noob. Don't sub, it's too late. Yikes, bud. Nano yeah. It's not great, gets the job done though. Let me get rid of some of these breakpoints now that I've actually figured the code out. We have managed to get the argument out. The place call. Unfortunately, I think I need to... I need this, like, template bit. I guess I can just use this. Hey, whatever works, right? Yeah. The train I go to sucks. I have to wait a specific time, and when I go back home around 4 p.m. it sucks that people are drinking alcohol and smoking in the... They smoke in the train? That sucks! Why would you use Nano over Vim? I do know how to use Vim. Wait, do I not have a breakpoint anymore? Oh, right, because I was editing on the other one. In 6. Visitor 6 add. Yeah, this is where I was editing. But I'm using the arrow keys like a noob. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Oh, those, I don't have my Vim configured for indents. Anyways, I do know how to use Vim, I'm just not very good at it. Why would you use Nano over Vim to exit? Yeah. Is it allowed to smoke on trains? It shouldn't be. That sounds awful. What is this image? Let's see, how brave am I? I'm gonna open another... Oh, okay. It's a good meme. I approve. Just memorize these 14 contextually dependent instructions. Exiting Vim, eventually. Oh, and they've switched O'Reilly to Overly. Nice. Do you know the command ed? I have used ed before. I'm not very good at it. What about Sublime, Atom, or any of the standard stuff? I have Visual Studio Code installed. I've used it before on stream a couple times. It's okay. I'm just faster not using it. No. Okay. I don't know. I promise I'm not a noob. I know what I'm doing, ish. One day I hope to be better. I'm trying to understand why anyone would nano. Have you seen me write code in nano? I'm actually really good at it. It's not a good reason to use it. I'm impressed. Begins to stir func args 0. Oh, how did I do this? I made a slice? Yeah. A little more readable anyway, and I don't have to manually construct a slice too. Good. Oh shit. That I opened in the other tab. Hey, who are you? Thank you for the follow. Every follow counts. Meta class equals argster func args 0. Okay, so this is the string that we'll be putting into the class. I use Control K and U in Nano. Those are all I use. That's what I use for most of it. Didn't know it was possible to be efficient. This kid is weird. Yeah, thanks, Jay. You're not wrong. Oh, wired. Weird also. One or the other. Like in the Matrix. Did you know that the first versions of Unix were written in a line editor like Ed? Well, I mean, back in the day, they used to write code on punch cards. So it was a different time then. Okay, so now that we have gotten the metaclass class, we've done this part. We need to find the class token. While, let's see. While tokens j.source does not equal class, j plus equals 1. So now we should be sitting at the class token. And then what do we need to do? We need to find the colon before the new line. So after the colon, oh, there's not always a new line. Sometimes there's unimportant white space. What we really need to find is a colon at depth 0, not nested in anything, because you could have something like, wait, how could I have a colon in here? work? It's nonsensical, but does it work is the question. T.I. Seems to work just fine. Python 4. Living in the future! Yeah, so I can't just look for the colon. I need to find a colon that's not bounded by any parentheses. Do I not do this for anything else? I swear I did this for something else. Unix first had QED, I think. Ed is from before Unix. Okay, I can believe that. What's worse, punch cards or PHP? I mean, I've done PHP. Man, PHP sounds like a drug. Yeah, back in my day I did some PHP. Really, that shit real messed me up. Oh man, I never go back. Can't do. Oof. Gives you a crazy crash. 24 lines was a luxury. Hey, what's up, Tati1206? What are you doing? Like existentially or no? So I'm working on a tool called not this. It's not that either. I'm working on a tool that's called pyupgrade. The idea behind pyupgrade is it takes Python source code and upgrades it to newer versions of the language. So the first example in the README is these set literals. This is how you used to have to write set literals in Python 2.6. But then in Python 2.7 they added this new syntax, and so this tool will automatically rewrite the left-hand side syntaxes into the right-hand side syntaxes. And it does that for a bunch of stuff, so like dict comprehensions, format, calls, printf formatting. It'll upgrade to dot format, it'll get rid of Unicode literals if you're in Python 3 only, it'll fix invalid escape sequences, it'll rewrite incorrect is/is not with literals, it'll rewrite UR literals, a bunch of other stuff. The one that people really get excited about is it'll, in Py3.6 mode, it'll write stuff as f strings, which is pretty cool. And the thing that I'm working on today is finally finishing off this, what's it called, compatibility code layer rewriting stuff. So 6 is a compatibility library that lets you write Python 2 and Python 3 code as a single source. And I am writing the Py3 plus mode, which will remove the compatibility code and leave it as just the Python 3 only code. So that's what I'm working on. Wait, what is 6.callable and why is it different than callable? Python 3, 6. I guess Python 6 GitHub. Sorry, I just thought of something because I just replaced callable in some code in Flake 8. I want to make sure that I'm not callable. Oh, okay, this is from before callables. Never mind, not a big deal. But the very last 6 rewrite that I hadn't done before is rewriting this 6.add meta class. The reason I haven't done it before is it's tricky. I need to like remove this decorator and then insert meta class into this class definition at the end. And I need to make sure that it either does or doesn't have parentheses. And if it does have commas, then I need to add commas, or yeah, it's tricky. But anyway, this is what I'm working on right now. PHP on punch cards, the ultimate sin. Yeah. Or any language that has type coercion and creates variables on first use, like Ruby. Explain to me, but slow, I speak Spanish. Oh, sorry. So, pyupgrade, I guess slowly, or at a high level, pyupgrade takes code and makes it into better code. And this is the very last change that I need to switch over. Have you seen this before? Well, if the title's goddamn PHP, it must be pretty good. Know the risks. Use has led users to suicide. PHP is also addictive. I don't know. PHP isn't much worse than Python, let's be real. Wait, oh, I see. Programmer Humor's icon is the first part of the PHP logo. This is how robots steal our jobs. Yeah, because I've automated away the nitpicky shit that humans do. So this is related to finding classes. Look forward and backward to find commas and parentheses. Okay, so it first finds the right boundary when it either hits a comma or a colon. I bet this has a bug. I bet this has this bug. Like, I bet if I have this, then the code doesn't get rewritten properly. A nasty bug. Do I bother fixing it? Probably not today. Pi 3 plus. Oh no. What? It worked? What is the case to make this break? Is it this? Oh, that worked. Oh. No, this is fine. There would have to be a colon in the object. Yeah, so I get lucky. This works. Close paren after trailing comma. Okay, so this does essentially what I need to do. It finds this right colon, but I'll need to do it again. I'm not able. That's Desir. Desir is. Man, I used to know some Spanish. Un poquito. What is forget? Oh, I'm not able to tell it this. You're using Mint Linux as your operating system, and you want to experiment with the... I don't know what that word is. Oh, you want to try using Kali Linux? Right now you have 1 hour. I'll just copy and paste this. I got most of it though. You have an hour to do something. You broke. Oh, I see. You broke your Mint installation. Trying to experiment with Kali, and I'm waiting for an hour for the packages to install again. I see. I program with Minecraft command blocks. Dude, Minecraft is so legit. I've spent so many hours on Minecraft. There was a good meme on Minecraft memes recently. sort by top? No, not this one. This one's... Wait, I wanted top of all time. It was pretty soon. It was pretty recent. This one. That's why I can't sleep. According to a Japanese legend, when you cannot sleep at night, it's because there are monsters nearby. I don't know. I thought this was pretty funny. Wait, this is top of all time? Oh, this is 24 hours. I clicked all time, right? Of all time. Reddit, your shit's broken. Best year of all time. Oh, is the drop down just broken? What's going on? Anyway. Memes. Memes. I've broken my system so many times. Yeah, that's the other reason that I use a virtual machine, which people give me shit for also, is because I break my machines all the time as well. So this is so that I don't break things. But yeah, I essentially need this same brace stack lookup to find the colon. But I don't think I'm going to be able to reuse. I'm going to be able to reuse much. Okay, so brace stack is equal to this. We're looking at the class token now, so we want to search forward until we have a colon. So while brace stack or tokens j does not equal the colon. Alright, so first we search forward for the class token. Then search forward for a colon token to do test class C. What is this terrible monstrosity? Oh god, what have I done? I press control down. No. Search forward for colon token not inside a brace. If tokens j while depth. We don't actually need to keep track of the braces. We just need to know the depth of the. Oh god, I did it again. If tokens j dot source. This needs to be dot source. It's equal to the open parenthesis, then depth is increased by 1. J dot source is equal to the close parenthesis, then depth is decreased. Minus equals 1. And so then at that point, J should point at colon in theory. Let's see. I'm in the progress of fixing it. Yeah, that's actually how I've learned to fix my stuff as well. Did you hear about Huawei? They're coming up with their own phone OS instead of Android. Interesting. I don't know if that's a good strategy though. Why would they do that? Operating system. Currently it's Android. Just in case US tensions disrupt the use of Android. Oh, that would be real shitty, but would also kind of make sense given the whole like trade embargo stuff that's gone down. I mean, it wouldn't be too hard to just build something on top of Linux without having to deal with Android. What is the error? Library.so. Package warning. Files list file for packages. Oh. Because your mom. And you can try... I mean, usually to fix the apt database, you can just like apt update. Because of Trump. Because of your mom. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that depackage warning before. I mean, apt reinstall is usually a good one. But I don't know how much that's going to help you, given how much you've broken this. Paper Arcster missing positional arguments. What's up, Taddy1206? Thank you for the follow. Every follow counts. Oh, we want this. Tokens. Oh, it's too many characters. No. That's probably fine. Many classes assigned to, but never used. Yep, that's to be expected. Okay, lots of tokens, and J is at 11, which should be this. Tuple enumerate tokens. And it is. So that's good. Although, one thing that I need to record as I'm iterating across is whether we see any parentheses. If we don't see any parentheses, then we need to add them. We also still need to see whether we see any commas. So this will record whether we see any parentheses. If depth is equal to 1 and tokens j.source, if we see a comma, so this will give us all the information we need to properly add the metaclass string. Oh, and we're so close to getting this, which is good. Great. Okay, if last paren is equal to -1, didn't see any friends to build class. This is the current case that we have in our test suite. We'll add the other 2 or 3 or whatever cases after this. Tokens dot okay, so we're pointing at this, and if we do x.insert j, or wait, x, so we inserted before the 4. That's exactly what I want. Okay, cool. Tokens j. I can just insert. Should insert before that? 0, 1, 2? Yeah, okay. Inserts before. Got it. I surrender until tomorrow. It's midnight in Argentina, and you have school tomorrow. Oh, bummer. Well, good luck on fixing that tomorrow. Thanks for stopping by. Is it good that med students have C's get degrees mentalities? It's like having a doctor say I got C's, so I'm 70 to 79% a doctor. Yeah, that's pretty scary. Do you use flex/bison for that? I wish I could use flex/bison. Oh, Just shut down dash H now is the best way, probably. You should be using flex/bison. Yeah, I'm manually parsing. It's a little jank, but it works. J token code. Okay, so this should actually make our test pass, I think, now? Assuming I can syntax properly. Okay, so those tests pass now. We also need to test one base class existing. Must be equal to the number of values for. Oh, I have too many commas here. Okay, so that isn't working yet. I'm surprised it did nothing. Like, I expected it to remove this. Oh, I should have removed this here. Oh, I didn't actually finish writing the test case. I should have done that. Okay, this is what it should do. So right now, what it's doing is not adding the meta class. Elif last. Oh, we need to do with two parentheses also. Or with no base class, but just parentheses. Elif last paren and not, or last paren is not equal to -1 and not saw comma. That should solve that. Not quite. Ah, shoot. It's not just whether we see a comma or not, it's whether we see anything. Yeah, so we really need to be at depth 1 and see something that's not a parenthesis. And not white space. This manual parsing can go so wrong. Hey, it's worked. I mean, good test cases, cover all the branches. It's not terrible. I mean, it's pretty bad, but it's not terrible. What are you building? I'm working on a tool called pyupgrade. What pyupgrade does is it takes old syntax and converts it automatically into new syntax. And most of that is by manipulating the token stream. Hey, at least I'm not implementing the parsing of the tokens. Like, I already have the tokens, it's really just fiddling them around. And so every part of that is pretty reliable. I actually could record the number of bases in the original code. That would make this less guesswork. And then I don't need to know about these commas. I still need to know about the last paren though. So let's go back up to here. Change this to a dictionary, which will map offset to the number of bases. So can it parse stuff like C, parenthesis, B, parenthesis? Yes, that's the whole point of the brace stack. Like pyupgrade can already do that. So like this class should remove 1, 2, 3, 4 objects. 1, 2, 3. Like the Py3 plus mode should remove the object base here. And that already works fine. It's not too hard. Have you ever used tools like Antler, Lex, or Yak? I've played with Antler. I don't actually know enough about parsers and compilers to compile my way out of a cardboard box. So unfortunately I don't actually know much at all about compilers. I wish I did. It's the one course that I wish I would have taken in school, but didn't. But most of the way that pyupgrade works is it grabs the offsets from the AST parser and then cross-references them against the tokenization or the token stream, and then mutates the tokens that way. I'm sure you can find something useful on YouTube. Yeah, definitely. It's whether I have time is the bigger one. Well, I go to sleep with the angels. Goodbye. Yeah, have a good one. Thanks for stopping by. Let's see if... What am I doing here? Oh, this is gonna do some really ugly things in some cases. Like if we had this, possible, but unlikely that someone would write code like this. And the current way I'm gonna write this is it's gonna just do this. Which is super ugly. Oh, it needs to know whether there's a trailing comma too. Shoot. Tricky, tricky, tricky. How do I do this? Someone pointed this out and now I can't unsee it. This style of indentation causes a sad face to show up right here. And so they refer to this as sad face indenting. I actually particularly like sad face indenting, except now I know that there's a sad face here. What's up, Piggy Dicey? You still around? How's your lurking? But yeah, the sad face indents are my preferred way of indenting, unfortunately. Oh man, this last bit is tricky. So I basically need to... I need to know how to indent properly, and that's hard. Or it's not easy. It's hard to find good instructional videos on YouTube without a thick Indian accent. That seems unfair. Remember, you write compilers because you don't want to write code. Yeah. Assignment is making me sad. They want me to learn how to use this stats software called SAS. I feel like I've used that before. I feel like it was not fun. Statistical analysis system. Oh yes, I've used this thing before. Does it still look as jank as it did? This is what it looked like back then. It was real bad. It looks a bit better now. Well, it's good. This is what I remember. This interface. It was not good. Do you drink coffee in the morning? I actually don't drink coffee at all. I am a very strange human being that gets up early and goes to sleep late. And why did somebody texted me? Oh, two-factor codes. Of course. Two-factor codes are the only people that text me. Do you take an afternoon nap? No. Sleep's overrated. Oh shit, this is hard. How do I make this work? Are you even human? No, I am dancer. Zing. This case is annoying. I think I need to like look backwards from this parenthesis and see if I find a comma. If I find a new line, then all bets are off. I could insert it just in the middle. That would be not so hard. I guess it'd be just as hard. Okay, let's do the simple cases first. Let's do simple cases first. Alright, we did the simplest case. Cool. We add parentheses. We really don't need this up here. Let's move it down here. If base count is equal to 0 and there's no last parenthesis, we do that. Otherwise, if the base count is equal to 0 and last paren does not equal -1, then we insert before the end parenthesis. We insert at last paren meta class. Okay, so let's write a test case for that and make that one work. And then we'll go from there. So this case is harder than that, so we will comment it out temporarily. That is one thing that I wish I had from like Vim or something, is like a multi-line comment out the code dealio. But I don't. Okay, so 0 bases but a parenthesis. 6.add meta class, no bases but parents. Stir has no attribute source. No. Of course. I think taking time to learn how to use bison/flex would save you more time in the long run. Yeah, but it doesn't really help me in Python because I would need to like write a bunch of C and then marshal in and out of C, and I don't have time for that. And I could use a different parser generator, but it's just going to make everything slow. I already went down the parser generator route. Like this is my like third iteration of this tool. Granted, the first two weren't public, but I originally wrote this tool using a parser generator, and it worked in some cases, but the grammar always drifted from the CPython grammar, and the tokens always drifted from the token grammar, and like it's just easier to use the tokenization. The manual parsing part's not great, but like it's all linear time, so it's not like it's gonna be faster. It's just gonna be a different way to accomplish it. Like I get it, and I get like this looks hacky, but it actually like a lot of thought has gone into this in this particular case. I don't need this comment anymore. It's not actually that helpful. Actually, now that I think about it, recording the base count, the number of base classes, isn't actually helpful, so I can back that out. Although it makes this test fail. We'll keep it, but like I think I'm gonna get rid of it. Because I really need to start doing this crazy backtracking thing and figure out whether I have a comma or not. What was the problem with Python parsing indents? You mean like using my own parser generator or using the Python parser? So the problem with the Python parser is has actually been fixed in the latest version of Python that's not released yet, but I'll show you why it's not helpful in Python or AST pretty. Let's make a simpler program that's not so complicated. So we just have this simple program here, which is a class with C, B, and pass. So the current AST, the current released AST gives you the column and line number offsets for each node. So in this case, this class def starts at this character here, and then it has the bases, which is at this character here. And then there's a pass statement, which says it's at this character here. The problem is this AST doesn't actually give you the ending position, so you can't actually like grab the source out of this and do anything useful with it. Fortunately, what I'm actually doing, and like how pyupgrade works, is I take this offset information and then I tokenize it. I tokenize it using the Python tokenizer, and then I can cross-reference. So like I get this line number 1, column offset 0, and I can cross-reference against this token here. I get this 1,8, and I can cross-reference against this token here, and then I can do my own parsing based on these tokens to handle the rest of it. So that's how it's working right now. The problem with the like parser generators is they always drifted from this parsing, and so when new features or syntax or whatever was added to CPython, my parser generators would suddenly be wrong, and it's much more reliable to just let someone else implement the entire grammar of Python than me trying to re-implement the grammar of Python myself. And I also mentioned that this gets fixed in the newer versions. They've added end line and end column offset to each of the AST nodes And so like you can see like this starts at 10 and ends at 116, and so this entire source is the class def. Which 116, that doesn't, oh it does, it adds up. So now you could actually build a concrete syntax tree out of the abstract syntax tree just by abusing these 4 fields. But unfortunately, I don't have that yet. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to implement the quick and dirty, like, worst way that's going to work for most cases, but not for the wacky case that I showed. Where was it? I guess I can... If I had this... and what I guess I can do here is just do this. And that's not the worst. Instead of doing this, which is real gross. So I think I can make that happen. That's not so bad. Do you really need the bases attribute? No, I don't. I'm actually getting rid of that now. But I wanted to keep it because this test passes. So I think that implements this bit of logic down here that I had, the base count, and if that test passes, then I'll delete the, So we should have 1 fail and 3 pass. Okay, yeah, so this implements the same thing as this down here, so I can get rid of the base count. Off to bed. Thank you, TBCX, for stopping by. I'd suggest if you want to chat more, especially since you seem interested in this kind of stuff, there's a Discord link in the description below the video. You can always chat with me when I'm not streaming, and I'd be happy to talk with you more about this kind of stuff, because I think you know the stuff pretty well, and I could potentially learn some stuff. So feel free to join. No pressure. You don't have to, but would be happy to have you. Are you doing this stuff for work or just a hobby? This is just a hobby. Some of the stuff I do use at work, like we're currently doing a lot of Python 2 to Python 3 migrations at Lyft, and we're leveraging this tool a lot for it because I happen to have written some of this stuff in the past, and so it helps us do the migration. Node bases. So it's not for work, but we use it at work anyway. So yes and no. I'm doing it. I'm not getting paid right now. If that's what you're asking. I'm doing it because I find it fun. Okay, so if we look backwards and find a token that is not a comma. Then we need to add a comma and a space and the meta class. Okay, elif tokens. If it's a comma, oh, we haven't done that yet. It's not a comma. It's not a comma, we need to add comma space. Oh. Someone has joined Discord. Oh, Peaky, you joined Discord. Nice. Hope you brought pizza. Thanks for joining. Just like, hey, that I recognize that noise. That's the Discord noise. I also have the notification on my phone. That's why my phone's freaking out. We didn't find a comma, we do comma space meta class. Otherwise, if we find a comma, that's the only thing that's possible here. Then we want a space, then meta class, then a comma. So that should handle all of the cases. But we don't have a test for all of them yet. And then I think this thing is done somehow. Add meta class base with trailing comma. So it should keep the trailing comma, even though that looks dumb. But the idea is that, like, if it had, I guess I could, let's do the actual case that I wanted to handle. That's what it'll do in this case. It should pass now. No, it doesn't pass. Oh. Oh. It's good that I wrote tests though. Creator.func. xt.call and this. Cool, so the tests are passing now. I'm pretty sure I have a bunch of to-dos though. Not those ones, not those ones. And not star args. Alright, so I need to make this not crap out on star args. Cannot determine args in order to rewrite them. 6.add meta class star A. So that should fail. Yeah, it generates this garbage right now. So we need to add not star args. Fix that. What's up, the standard? How's your Tuesday going? Hey, do you know what the internship process is like at Lyft or what they like to look for? Yes. So Lyft has kind of two types of internships. One of them is like super low level, not really aimed at like college students like you. You would apply for the normal internship. So there's one thing is the apprenticeship program. Which is actually like a... Oh, I didn't want to click on the LinkedIn thing. No. Where's the... Anyway, I'll just explain it. So Lyft has an apprenticeship program, which is aimed at like coding boot camps, self-taught people, that sort of thing. Where it's more of like you sign up for like learning for 3 months and like you have a mentor and they work really closely with you about like building yourself as a software engineer and not necessarily as like an employment situation. You still make money, like they still pay you, and it's kind of a cool program that I haven't seen in other places. And then there's internships, which is pretty much like you apply like a standard job. Like you go through the same interview process that full-time candidates do. Now the panel's a little bit different. Like full-time candidates will do, I think, 2 or 3 design and architecture, and interns will only do 1, and they'll do more coding questions and less with the other stuff. But the interview process is pretty much the same. Like you start with a phone screen, which has like a programming question that you do in CoderPad over the phone. And our questions are super easy, at least the phone ones are. So like, they're not like, oh god, how do I reverse a linked list on a whiteboard? Like none of that garbage happens because like nobody wants to do that. And then on site you do a laptop question where you implement a problem. You're given like an hour and a half to work on it. You can use your own laptop, which is pretty cool. You can use the internet. You're basically like, we basically try and put you in an environment that's as close to how you would write code as you would normally, and like hack through that problem that way. And then there's usually like a design question where you kind of whiteboard out how you would set up like a blob diagram for building an application or something. Like I don't know, setting up like data stores and your load balancer tiers and all that other stuff. And that's kind of how that works. So what the fuck is going on here? Oh, search for a colon, but not inside a brace. But yeah, they're mostly looking for like from an experience perspective, they want to see that like you're working on projects and stuff and like building, I don't know your stuff. You know, like open source is a plus, previous experience is a plus, but like for internships, they're not really expecting you to have a lot of super background stuff. I think I gotta learn the design stuff. I don't know anything about load balancers. Yeah, you don't have to know much about load balancers. You just have to know where they belong and how they function, kind of. Like my like go-to whenever I'm doing so I know there's a to-do in your description, but why Nano? Yeah, it's because I'm a complete noob. So it's kind of a long story around like all the editors that I used to use. I originally started back in the day writing HTML and PHP and Notepad, which is not great, but it worked. Then my first job was in Java, where I did stuff in Notepad++, so at least an improvement. This was before... I wasn't supposed to be writing Java. I was just like writing Java because I could. Because it like made it so my job was easy. And then I worked on C# and worked in Visual Studio, and I absolutely loved Visual Studio. It was great. It was amazing. It wrote all my code for me. It was basically the best. But then when I started at Yelp, which was Python and not C# anymore, I switched to Eclipse because it kind of had good Python support. This is the 10th time hearing this story. Yeah, Jay, you've been around for a long time. You know this story by heart. I switched to Eclipse, which worked all right. Then I switched to IntelliJ, which also worked all right. But then I moved across, or I went home for the holidays and worked from home for a couple weeks. And the internet connection across the country was super fucking slow and really could not keep up with syncing code across the continent. And so I switched back to a terminal editor that I learned in college, which is Nano. And over those 2 weeks, I developed muscle memory. And then when I came back, I realized that I was faster at using Nano than I was at using IntelliJ. So I've just stuck with it since then. And I do know how to use Vim. I'm not a complete noob, but it doesn't mean that I'm good at it. And I just happen to be I'm faster at Nano than I am at anything else. So I stick with it. What an origin story, yeah. Okay, so we wanted this weird case here. x:0. I want this to still work properly, even though it looks weird AF. Okay, forced into it. Got it. Thank God it wasn't intentional, at least. I mean, partially intentional, but I got you. I got you. Kisme says, so what is it you're working on this evening? Well, I'm almost finishing up, but I'm working on pyupgrade, and I'm doing the I think I've talked to you about pyupgrade before. It's an upgrader of syntax, so it takes old syntax, old Python syntax, and converts it into new Python syntax. And the thing that I've been working on for a really long time, and I'm so close to finishing, which is what I'm doing tonight, is the burn the bridges 6 fixer, which removes this 6 compatibility code, which I had implemented all of the parts except for this last add meta class decorator thing. And so that's what I'm working on right now. And I have it working. I'm mostly just filling in my to-dos and I already did this one. Filling in my, working through all of my to-dos and making sure that all of my test cases are in place, and then being done with it. Add meta class weird base that contains a colon. Oh no. Oh, I forgot to keep this along with the output. But that is done. So then I guess that's it. Yeah, because I think I've implemented all the cases here. No bases. Yeah. Alright, let's see if I hit all of the coverage targets. I do in Python 2, so I assume I will in Python 3. So sorry if you just stopped by, because I think it's time to wrap. Let me look at the diff that I generated, the terrible monstrosity that I wrote. Alright, so we're adding a new thing to collect during AST portion. It has to be a call and a call to 6.add meta class, and not with star args. I moved this from the other one. This is just code that removes a decorator. I took this portion of the list comprehension and split it out into a function because I needed this for pulling the meta class name out of the call. I check for the new add meta class. I moved this into remove decorator. At least if it's on one screen. It could be worse, I guess. So we first grab the meta class out of the function call. Then we search forward to find the class token. Then we search further forward until we find the colon. But the colon can't be when there's any parentheses, so it has to go outside of it. And then, if there were no parentheses inside, between class and the colon, then we have to add parentheses. So that's like the situation where it's like class C parentheses, so we would add meta class equals M in there, like that. So it's this case here. Otherwise, we have to search backwards from the last parenthesis until we find something that is not white space. So we either find a open parenthesis, which means that there's no bases, and we just insert the meta class there, or you find a comma, or sorry, something that's not a comma, and then we do comma space meta class. Otherwise, we find a comma and we insert the meta class in a comma. Is the function fits on the screen rule something you live by as well? Well, if we look at this actual function, that function does not at all fit on the screen. Pi3 plus. But you can think of like each of the, where is it? Fixed Pi3 plus. So like this function does not at all fit on the screen. But each like portion of this function, this could just be its own separate function, and each of those would fit on the screen nicely. It's a nice rule of thumb, but like, I'm talking about the diff, yeah. It's a nice rule of thumb, but like, I don't know. Sometimes your functions need to be bigger. Like this one is a big function. This could just be like its own separate bit though. Like this could be just like fix add meta class, and I would cut and paste the part between this elif and this elif and stick it into another function. But I don't know. I'm leaving it in there, so it is not bad that it's basically one screen. But yeah, I was talking about the diff. Page up. Where were we? Yeah. Hey, what's up, outdated version? You're catching just the tail end of the stream. How's it going, friend? I'm basically just going over the diff right now and then calling it good. Peacing out. But anyway, and then I wrote some tests for it, and that's it. But yeah, I'm gonna wind down here. Is that some hair on your lip? Yeah, I've been sick, and like, the weird thing that I've noticed about being sick is, so like usually when hair grows out on my neck, I scritch and scratch. But I've noticed when you're in pain that you don't really think about those sorts of things. You just deal with the pain all day. And so I haven't noticed that my neck is scratchy and I haven't shaved. So yes, there is a bit of facial hair. But what are you gonna do, I guess? Everything is going great. How are you? I'm doing fine. I'm still recovering from being sick, so that's why I'm like nasally and I hate listening to this if I listen back to any of it, but you know, it happens. But other than being a little bit sick, I'm feeling great today. This is my first day like actually doing a significant amount of work in a while. I mean, whenever I say don't do work when I take days off, I really don't take days off. I still spend a bunch of it on Slack, like answering people's questions and working on little things here and there. But today I spent a full day doing work from home, which was good to get back. I'm feeling energized. The stream must go on. Yeah, I took a week off streaming too, which like I was super antsy about that, and that's why I did a stream tonight, because I was like, I really want to stream. It's like this weird feeling. It's like when I first started streaming, I was always like terrified of streaming. It's like, oh no, I have to stream again. I have to talk to a computer again. people are gonna judge me and all this shit. And now it's just like, oh, I really want to do it. I don't even know what I get out of it. I don't really get much out of it, but it's fun. So I like to do it. But anyway, when did I first start streaming? Let's see. Actually, I can check. I think 'cause I guess I can see when I got my first follow. Just now following you on Twitch. I can find my first follow because oh, maybe I didn't record all of them. Oh no, I did. Somewhere way back here. Commander Root was my first follower. Way back in August of 2018, so almost a year now. It's not really that long. But even then, like, I wasn't really following all that consistently. Also, I can see based on this count here, there's 403 here, but I only have 387 followers, so I've lost 17 of you guys along the way. Hey, what's up, user 335? Oh no, a raid right as I'm finishing. This is a raid, stop resisting. User 335 is another streamer who works on some video game stuff. He's working on a real-time strategy or like first person. His game's about demons. It's really cool, and I like watching his stream a lot. We can all check out whoever you raid. Yeah, perfect. The raid train is on. Thank you, Bix Plays, for the follow. Every follow counts, and also thank you again, user 335, for the raid. I gave you a follow, by the way. I'd love to pick your brain sometime. Yeah, happy to answer questions too. I'm about to do my stream wind down, so we'll go through that, and then I'll find someone to raid. But yeah, what is my usual spiel? If you missed any part of the stream, I usually put them on I usually put them on YouTube after usually within a day. I haven't streamed in a week, so it's been a while since I've uploaded. But that's youtube.com/AnthonyWritesCode, which is the same as this stream, which is twitch.tv/AnthonyWritesCode. Brand new, I now have a Discord, which I announce streams and chat with people while I'm not streaming, and answer questions and like hang out and shoot the shit and meme about programming and all sorts of stuff like that. So if you want to check out the Discord, that is in the description below. I also announce my streams there and on Twitter before I stream, and so if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'll usually announce the streams like 60 to 80 minutes before I stream on Twitter. But that's my spiel. Let's find someone to raid.